One of the best guarantees for a healthy garden soil next spring is to make sure that you add plenty of organic matter this fall. And there are different ways to do that. You could add small amounts of manure, you could add compost, you could add leaves and rototill those in. But one of our favorite ways is to grow a cover crop. And by cover crop, we mean a crop that's going to be grown for the winter to cover the soil, help suppress weeds, help hold in moisture, help prevent erosion during the winter, but also they can serve as what's known as a catch crop, because some of the cover crops that we use have very deep roots that go down and bring up nutrients from deep in the soil to make them available to plants next spring. And there are several kinds of cover crops. There are the summertime ones, such as buckwheat, that you may be familiar with, but in fall we do various ones such as ryegrass, winter peas, and vetch. And we have a neat mixture here today that we're going to be putting in our garden. But first I wanted to tell you about the information OSU has available on cover crops. For a long time we've just handed out a mimeographed sheet on how to grow them. But look at this, we have a brand new fact sheet called Healthy Garden Soils. It's fact sheet number 6436. And this was written by Clyde Borthwick. She's one of our extension assistants. Spent a long time researching different cover crops and how to grow them. And although this covers different ways to add organic matter to soil in general, the nice thing is it has a full sheet covering cool season cover crops as well as warm season cover crops. It will tell you the minimum seeding rate per 100 square feet, because most gardens are smaller now, and so that gives it in ounces, and that tells you you don't need very much seed to cover an area. Well, the ones that we're going to do today are going to be in sort of an artful pattern. As you probably realized this past summer, Steve Owens, our studio grounds manager, loves to do beautiful garden designs out here. So we decided to have a little bit of fun with our cover crop. And in this 25 by 25 area that was in strawberries last year, we want to enrich the soil but have a little artsiness to it as well. And so we have 4 nested squares that are in the garden, and the center area is just 5 by 5, finishing with a border area that's 25 by 25. The seeds that we're going to use are 4 different blends or individual types of seed. In the very outer area around the edge, we have Beryl medic, which is a legume, and that's going to add nitrogen to the soil, and we have ryegrass. Now, ryegrass is something that some people will overseed their Bermuda grass lawns with in the winter for some green cover, but it would make a very easy to turn in cover crop as well, and the seed is readily available. Beryl medic is something that we did send away from a mail order catalog, but in our Oklahoma gardening notes we have those available at your county extension office for where to get it. It's called Beryl medic because the seed is barrel shaped. Now this has a gray coating on it called rhizocoating. Because it is a legume, it needs rhizobium bacteria to aid germination, and so that's pre-coated. In the next area we'll be sowing crimson clover, and crimson clover is also rhizocoated in this case. You can also get just plain crimson clover and buy inoculant for it, and that's even found in some wildflower mixes because it's tall, has a beautiful crimson plume in the early spring. Next we'll be planting a mixture of mustard seed and ryegrass, and the reason for the blend is that mustard has a little kind of a sparse appearance on the soil. The ryegrass will serve as an additional filler and help suppress weed growth such as chickweed and henbit. And then last of all, in the very center, we have the very tallest 2 crops, and that's a blend of hairy vetch, which is a legume that we'll need to inoculate right away, and also a mixture of cereal rye and wheat. And the idea is that the rye-wheat mixture gets growing. Once the vetch really comes on in February, it can climb up the wheat and have plenty of support. So the first thing we want to do is moisten the seed, and of course the rye and wheat don't need inoculating, but we want to pour off the water, add just a little bit of inoculum, and this is way more than you normally need. And then we're going to take this out and spread it out in the garden, rake it in, and keep it moist. Water it a couple times a day for the next few days to keep it going. And if you have a pattern like this, you want to make sure that you go very carefully around the edge to keep your pattern in mind. Well, hopefully you're going to do something fairly artsy with your cover crops this fall. Enjoy having them in the garden, but also make it a beautiful garden to enjoy for the winter. And make sure that you come back and join us next week here on Oklahoma Gardening.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.